Hello, I'm Coach Natalie, and welcome to another episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies. Today we're going to work on an arm drag and a back take when you are in the closed guard. It's a way to get from what I consider an inferior position, the closed guard, to a better position, which would be to, of course, get their back. So let's check it out. Okay, let's check it out. So if you've been doing jiu-jitsu for any length of time, you'll notice that when someone is in your legs and you've closed your legs behind them, we call that the closed guard position. Now, we're going to have our dummy here start in our closed guard. The benefits in this case is when someone's in your closed guard, you can use your legs to push them towards you, break their posture, that control them, that kind of thing. So Sally here, my dummy, is going to be in my closed guard. First thing I'm going to do is I'm a left-handed person, so it's natural for me to control her right wrist with my left hand. Of course, if you're right-handed, you're gonna control this hand, but me being left-handed, I'm gonna grab her right wrist with my left hand. If she's wearing a gi, even better. I can cuff grip. Second, I'm going to take my hand in a C grip and I'm gonna put it behind her shoulder. And this is going to allow me to control this arm, like this. Next, I'm going to use my legs to bring Sally closer to me. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'd like this arm to be on the ground. Sally is about my same size, so this technique should work pretty well. Grab the wrist, secure the shoulder, and I'm going to be dragging her arm across until her elbow touches the floor. Now, as soon as I can, I need to get onto my elbow. I also need to grab underneath her shoulder here. So, I'm going to be getting to my elbow, underneath her shoulder. Now I'm going to kick forward and get to my hand. So the last thing I want to do is I want to kick my butt out a little bit so that there's a little bit of space for her. Then I'm going to be pulling her back into my lap, getting the other hook, a seat belt. And you can see how I now have her back. Let's try that again. Again, Sally, my partner, is not my same size. I'm gonna put my legs around her, grab this wrist. If we're doing no gi, just grabbing her wrist. If she's in a gi, I can even cuff grip. That might even be better. My next hand, I'm going to put underneath her underarm. I'm gonna pull her forward. At the same time, I drag this arm till this elbow is on the floor. Something like this. As soon as I can, I want to get onto my elbow, and I want to get onto, so I can grab her opposite underarm. Now I'm even going to kick forward and get to my hand. Now the last thing I want to do is I want to scoot my butt out a little bit. What I want to do is pull Sally into my lap and then put on what we call the seatbelt. So pull her back and get the seatbelt. Now, that arm drag, back take, will work well with someone that's about your same size, same strength. But what do you do when someone's a lot bigger than you are? You might not be able to drag their arm. You might need to move yourself instead. So let's check it out. It's going to start off the same way. You're going to grab the same side arm or cuff. You're going to, with a C clamp, you're going to grab behind the arm. Now, instead of being able to move them, you might not be able to do that. They may be too tough, too heavy, too strong. So what you're going to need to do instead is undo your closed guard, put your foot on the floor, and move yourself. Now, as soon as I can do this, put my elbow on the floor. I'm still reaching for the lat, shooting the leg forward to get to your hand. And then the setup is still the same. One foot is already on her hip. I'm going to kick up my butt so I can pull her back and get to her back. Now, it's a pretty simple move, but there are some mistakes that people might make when they do this. The first would be when you are grabbing their arm, you want to make sure that when their arm is going to the ground, that it's going underarm, into your underarm, not over. I'll show that in a second. The second would be when you are grabbing their arm, don't grab behind their elbow. You really want to grab behind their shoulder. It's a way to really break them down. So let me show you. Maybe in this direction. So Sally here is in my closed guard. The first thing we're going to do is grab her wrist. But if I grab just behind her elbow, she can pull her arm back. We don't want to do that. We really want to grab behind her underarm. The second thing, as I was mentioning, is when I am trying to shuck her arm to the floor, I don't want to shuck it over my arm. I want to make sure that it's under my arm so that her elbow gets to the floor. Another mistake would be spending too much time on my back. Now, even though I have a plan to get out, my opponent here can always push me back down. So as soon as I shuck them to the side, I want to get to my side. I want to get to my elbow. I want to grab their underarm. I want to kick my leg forward and get to my side. I want to spend as little time on my back as possible. And then, as I was mentioning, if Sally here is about my same size, this is gonna work. This should work. Grab the arm. Grab underneath her underarm. Push her forward. Shuck to the side. Get to your elbow. And then to your hand. But if your opponent is strong, big, you're gonna need to move yourself. Again, grab the wrist or grab the gi. You're underhooking. But like I said, what if Sally's really, really strong? Maybe I can't just move her arm. I'm going to need to take my foot. I'm going to need to move myself and until her elbow gets to the floor. And then, of course, grab the lat, kick forward, get to your own hand, make sure you have a hook, kick back your own lap, and then pull back until you have the back. So, as I said in my introduction, I don't really like the closed guard. I'm more of a smash passer myself, but sometimes you will find yourself in the closed guard on the bottom. And through the arm drag to the back take, you can learn how to get to a better position. Of course, once you're on the back, you can do a rear naked choke, a bow and arrow choke, zipper choke. There's lots of chokes available from the back. So I hope you enjoyed learning this move. Reach out to me. I have a Facebook page, Natalie Whitson Jiu Jitsu. Suggest a move. Love to hear from you. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Jiu Jitsu for Dummies.